Here we are at the lot of the Shurtcliff and Shurtcliff families here in Mount Auburn Cemetery in a cool June 2011 afternoon. And here you see Margaret Shurtcliff, Homer Shurtcliff. She was one of the 6 children of Arthur and Elizabeth Nichols Shurtcliff, or Shurtcliff. Elizabeth Nichols was a member of the Nichols family, and if you were to visit the Beacon Hill in Boston, you could visit the Nichols House Museum, a mansion that they lived there. And I guess she was considered a progressive in those days, but with 6 children, she couldn't have been too much of a feminist. And over here, surprisingly enough, is Arthur, a few rows away from his beloved wife. He died in 1957 at the age of 88, pretty ripe old age. And the reason why his spelling is different is because he went over to England and decided to change the spelling of what he thought was the original name of the Shurtcliff family, Shurtcliff. It's been spelled numerous ways: Shire, S-H-I-R-E, Cliff. That's where the family was originally from, central England. Shire Cliff, the Shire by the cliff. And Arthur Ashe was a landscape architect. He was worked under Frederick Law Olmsted. He designed lots of the some of the monuments, and actually had some say in some influence here at the cemetery of Mount Auburn. But also he did work. He did a lot of gardens in the North Shore of Boston. A lot of the I guess in those days the elite. He did a lot of beautiful work. He actually did a garden, a church in Norwood, Massachusetts, a Japanese garden. He did a lot of work for the city of Boston. He was also involved with the Harvard graduate, but also involved with Colonial Williamsburg. He was a research director there, I believe. And these are other members of that family. Some of them kept the Shurtcliff spelling. And it looks like a lot of them lived ripe old ages. Elizabeth Shurtcliff here, and born in 1878 and died in 1966. So here, if you're ever in the Boston area, you're a member of the Shurtcliff family. Mount Auburn Cemetery is open year-round, and they're very accommodating. They could tell you where you need to go to visit. And of course, this cemetery has the earthly remains of many famous Bostonians or greater Bostonians, poets and politicians and famous people. So and some that are not so famous.